Welcome, seekers of antiquity. You know, when we think about Greek myths, we often picture the hero, right? The guy with the sword, the monster, the big finale.
Right, the blockbuster version.
Exactly. But today, we're going to dig into something a lot darker. We're not talking about the hero who slays the monster. We're talking about how the monster was made.
We're talking about the family trauma that built the prison.
Yes, we are going to Crete, land of secrets, shadows, and, of course, the labyrinth. But before the labyrinth, there was a queen, Pasiphae.
And she's not just any queen. Her lineage is celestial. She's the daughter of Helios,
The daughter of the sun itself.
which is so crucial because the sun is all about light, clarity, truth, everything that this story is not.
That's the central tension, isn't it? She's often just remembered as this, notoriously adulterous wife. But is she a villain? Or is she just the first victim in a long line of them?
Well, to figure that out, you have to look at who started it all. And it wasn't her. It was her husband, King Minos, and a god he should not have crossed.
It always starts with a man wanting more power.
Almost always. Minos is feeling a bit insecure in his rule. He wants a sign from the gods to, legitimize his throne.
So he prays to Poseidon.
He does. He asks for a sign, and Poseidon delivers. He sends this magnificent, perfect white bull rising up from the sea.
Wow.
But it comes with a condition, a very simple one.
It's not a gift, it's a loaner, right?
Exactly. The deal is you sacrifice this bull back to me immediately to show your loyalty. Simple.
But Minos looks at this incredible animal and he gets greedy.
He thinks this is too perfect to kill. It's pure hubris. He hides the divine bull with his own herds and sacrifices a lesser one instead.
He thinks he can pull a fast one on the god of the sea.
And you don't do that. But the punishment, the divine correction, it doesn't hit Minos. Not directly.
No, it hits his wife.
Poseidon curses Pasiphae with what the Romans called turpus cupido.
A shameful passion.
Yes, but it's more than just passion. It's a curse. It's a complete cognitive override. Poseidon rewires her mind to desire the one thing she cannot have.
The bull. The very one her husband was meant to kill.
The cruelty is just staggering. It's not a choice she makes. It's an affliction. The poet Virgil really captures this in his eclogues.
Oh, what does he say?
He writes, Virgo in Felix, tu nunc in montibus eras. Unhappy girl, you now wander in the mountains.
Unhappy girl. That sounds so sympathetic, not judgmental at all.
It's incredibly sympathetic. He paints this picture of her, tormented, wandering the hills, while the actual cows are just peacefully grazing. She's totally alienated from her own nature.
It's an archetype we see elsewhere, isn't it? This idea of a woman consumed by a divine fire she didn't ask for.
Yes. Virgil uses the exact same device with Dido in the Aeneid. She's infected with love for Aeneas. But at least for Dido, the object is human, Pasiphae. She has no words for her nightmare. She's completely isolated.
And she can't act on this alone. I mean, she needs help to bridge this impossible gap.
And when you need to break the laws of nature in Greek myth, you don't call a philosopher. You call an engineer.
You call Daedalus.
You call Daedalus, the genius inventor.
I find him such a fascinating character. He's this creator archetype, but here the creation is just grotesque.
Well, that's the shadow side of the artist, isn't it?
Yeah.
The archetype isn't about creating beauty. It's about bringing an idea into physical form. And Daedalus is completely amoral about it.
He just sees a technical problem.
He sees a spec sheet. The queen needs a way to consummate her love for a bull. So what does he do? He builds an interface.
The wooden cow.
He builds a hollow wooden cow, covers it with a real cow's hide, and puts it in the meadow for her. It's a masterpiece of deception.
And just think about the psychology of that moment. Pasiphae, daughter of the sun, has to climb inside this dark wooden shell.
It's the ultimate dissociation.
She has to hide her humanity. She becomes the beast to be with the beast.
And from a Jungian perspective, which the sources lean on heavily, she is literally climbing into her own shadow.
Can you unpack that a little? What do we mean by the shadow here?
The shadow is everything we repress about ourselves. The dark thoughts, the secret desires, the things that society says are unacceptable. Pasiphae doesn't just acknowledge her shadow, she crawls inside it. That wooden cow is a dark wooden womb.
A womb to birth a monster.
And she does. The consequence of this act is the birth of Asterion.
A beautiful name, actually. It means the starry one.
He is a beautiful name. But we know him better as the Minotaur, the bull of Minos.
So now the secret's out. I mean, you can't exactly hide a half-bull, half-human child.
Now the shame becomes physical. It's breathing. And the burden shifts back to King Minos.
He must have known immediately this is the result of his own sin.
It's living proof of his broken promise. This monster is the embodiment of the entire family's failure. It's the bull in the room.
So what does he do? He can't kill it. It's still, in some way, his child.
He does what so many of us do with our shame. He decides to hide it. And who does he call?
Daedalus again.
The architect gets his second commission. Phase 1 was build a machine to enable the sin.
Phase 2 is build a machine to hide the consequences.
The labyrinth.
A structure that is so much more than just a maze.
Oh, absolutely.
Huh.
Archetypally, the labyrinth is the subconscious. It's the complex, winding, inescapable prison we build in our own minds to lock away the things we can't face.
That feels incredibly modern. It's literally architectural repression.
It is. But the thing about repression, the thing about the Minotaur, is that it doesn't just sit quietly in the dark. It gets hungry.
It demands sacrifice.
It demands tribute, which tells us that the secrets we bury, the traumas we hide, they aren't dormant. They consume our energy. They consume resources. You have to keep feeding the beast to keep it quiet.
Which brings us to the bigger picture, right? The so what of all this. Why are we still telling this story? You brought up this idea of mythological ontology. Can you break that down?
Sure. An ontology is just a system for categorizing things. It's a vocabulary. These myths, they aren't just stories. They are a vocabulary for the human condition.
So a character like Pasiphae isn't just a person. She's a category of experience.
Exactly. She represents a kind of psychological possession, that feeling of being overwhelmed by a desire you didn't choose and can't control. Daedalus represents a moral intellect, building things without asking if they should be built.
It's like the foundation for modern psychology. We still use their terms, right? Narcissism, Oedipus complex.
We're still mining this ancient database. And in this system, the gods, the theoi, they aren't really characters with personalities.
They're more like variables.
That's a great way to think about it. Poseidon is the external force. He's the variable you can't control, like a storm or a sudden illness or a wave of madness. The tragedy isn't the variable. The tragedy is the flawed human response to it.
Minos responds with greed. Pasiphae responds with dissociation. Daedalus responds with cold, detached logic.
And the result is a monster in a maze. It's a cascade of human failure under pressure.
It really changes how you see the hero, Theseus, who eventually shows up to kill the Minotaur.
It does. Because from a psychological perspective, the hero arriving to slay the beast represents consciousness finally entering the subconscious to confront the trauma. It's the goal.
But most of us aren't the hero, are we?
Most of the time, no. Most of us are Minos and Pasiphae. We're the ones building the labyrinth, feeding the monster, hoping no one ever finds out.
We identify with the hero, but we live like the victims.
And that's the power of this myth. It forces us to look at how the monster gets made in the first place.
It all comes back to Pasiphae, daughter of the sun, ending up as the mother of a monster hidden in the deepest dark.
It shows that no one is immune. In fact, sometimes the brighter the light we try to project on the surface, the deeper and darker the labyrinth we're building underneath.
So if hiding the monster doesn't work and merging with it, like Pasiphae did, leads to disaster, what's left?
The only way out is through. You have to consciously enter the maze. You have to face the thing you've hidden.
So as we wrap this up, it's really not a story about a bull man. It's a warning about repression.
It is. It's a challenge, really.
A challenge for us to... What?
To notice when we're calling on our own inner Daedalus, when we're faced with an uncomfortable truth, a mistake, a desire, a shame. Do we face it in the sunlight, or do we start drafting blueprints for a maze?
We always look at the hero slaying the beast as the climax, but maybe the more important, more human story belongs to Pasiphae. It forces us to ask, when we're hit by forces we can't control, do we find the courage to face the shadow, or do we just get better at building prisons to hide it in?
And the answer to that really determines whether you're living a hero's journey or a tragedy.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Keep seeking.
Until next time.